This is my son in the forest. The picture was taken at 3 o'clock in August on a very hot day. The sun was very harsh. I chose a shady place in the forest to shoot some photos. Here's Adam with his toy. I liked the way he raised his hand. It looks like he was looking at the shadows cast by the leaves and his own hand. I also liked the shade on his belly. I felt it was very moody and luminous in the forest, but I couldn't see it on the photo when I came back home. With this edit, I want to bring more light into the photo. I want to make it look more luminous. When it comes to settings, this was taken with my Sony a7 and a manual Samyang 85mm 1.4. I will start the edit with going to Photoshop. Right-click on the photo, choose Edit in Adobe Photoshop. We have a one layer right now. This is the background layer. We'll start to make the light rays on the photo. Let's create a new layer with this icon here. Now I will choose a polygonal lasso tool. I will decide on the angle of the light. I think it should be around 45 degrees coming from this top right corner. Let's start drawing those light rays. I should be guided by those bright spots on the ground. It's good to draw different thickness, sometimes thinner, sometimes thicker. Pay attention that I have those two squares connected here chosen. That means that I'm adding another selection and not making a new one every time. Now we will fill this selection with the color of the light. For this, go to Edit, Fill. You can also use the shortcut Shift Backspace. Let's choose Color. If there was a source of light in the photo, I would choose it with this eyedropper. In this case, I will have to guess. Let's choose a very bright yellow or orangey color. Click OK and OK. This selection should be filled with the color I chose. I need to deselect right now, so press Command or Control D. To make those stripes look like light rays, we should go and blur the edges. So go to Filter, Blur, and use Gaussian Blur. Choose the radius you want and click OK. Now I will change the blending mode from normal to soft light and reduce the opacity of the layer. You should do it in different layers, so Let's do the same thing again on a new layer. Click here to create a new layer, and again the same thing. Try to use different areas, sometimes the same ones, sometimes different. And repeat the same action. For Fill tool, use Shift Backspace. Then click OK. To deselect, click Ctrl plus D or Command plus D. To repeat the last filter used, go to Filter and choose the first option, Gaussian Blur. And again, change the blending mode from normal to soft light and reduce the opacity of the layer. Let's do it the third time. Shift Backspace for Fill. OK. Command D or Ctrl D to deselect. Go to Filter and repeat Gaussian Blur. And change the blending mode from normal to to soft light. And reduce the opacity. When you're done, you can shift click on all of those layers and create a group. Command or Ctrl G to create a group. You can see what's going on this group. Let's reduce the opacity of the whole group. I will also create a mask to remove some of those light rays from his face. Click here to create a layer mask. It will be white by default. Let's choose a brush, black brush, and remove the light rays from his face. I would like also to remove the shadows from his face. Therefore, I will create a copy of the background layer. So click Command plus J or Ctrl J to copy the layer. I will work on a copy of the layer. I don't really like to work on the background layer, because in case something goes wrong, I can always delete the copy here and create a new one from the background. Let's use the patch tool to remove the under eye shadows. Click patch tool and then select the area you want to fix and then move to a similar area. Now I will go back to Lightroom to finish the edit. Click Command plus S or Control S to save the photo. It should be automatically imported to Lightroom if you opened it the way I said to use Edit In. We're back in Lightroom. I'm sure I want to brighten the photo. I'm sure I want to warm it up. I will start with temperature. As you can see, the temperature is now to 0. It doesn't show the Kelvin degrees anymore because we are working on a TIFF image right now. Let's bring up the temperature to warm it up a little bit. His face is very dark comparing to the rest of the photo. I will brighten this up using the radial filter here. So click on the tool. To make sure everything is to 0, click twice on the effect. Click twice on the effect. Now when everything is down to 0, let's draw a circle around his face. If I want the inside of the circle to be affected, I need to have this checked. Let's bring up the shadows on his face. So let's move the shadows slider. And still too dark, so I will bring up the exposure as well. Until the color, the brightness of his face matches the color of his belly. I still want to warm it up a bit. I will use split toning to do this. When split toning, you can add a certain color to both highlights and shadows. I will click on this box and choose a nice warm orange tone. Warm orange tone. I don't really like the result on his skin because I added a color to a already colorful image. To fix this, I will drop down the saturation on the whole image. So some of the colors will be replaced by the oranges that I added into the highlights. I will also add a color to shadows, a similar one. Okay, I'm happy with the colors right now. I want to make that natural vignette more visible. I will darken the bottom of the photo, the left part, and some of those branches as well. I will use a brush. Click on a brush. Click on a brush and bring down the exposure. I want to create a big brush and a soft one. Now I will darken the edges of the photo. I don't want to darken this part though. This is my source of the light. I like the brighter and darker areas in the background. I want to make it more visible. I will create a few of those radial filters and brighten up some spots in the photo. So click on the radial filter, add exposure, and add some temperature. We can always move those after applying the filter. Let's make a very soft filter, so move the feather up. Let's change the temperature and add more exposure to this. Okay, I will repeat this in a couple spots. I like those light rays, but I don't like this dark area between those light rays. It doesn't look very natural. I will use a brush to fill this with some brightness. So I will create a new brush, add exposure. I will make a smaller one and less soft, harder one. Okay. Here. I'm happy with the result right now, so now I will create a new brush and use some clarity. So double click on the effect and now move the light slider using the brush and apply that clarity on his pens and on some of those leaves and something on the ground. Let's try to add more. Do not apply clarity on the skin. Okay, we are almost done. Let's go back to the basic panel here. I already added some temperature and I reduced saturation. Let's see what other sliders will do. We'll bring up some highlights. I have to be careful. Here's histogram, and you've got those triangles. If any of those are red, that means that you have over or underexposed areas. In this case, there is not a lot of those, so we are on the safe side. Let's add some contrast to this. The last part would be sharpening. Let's go down here to detail. Using this square, you can choose a reference point on your photo. Just maybe an eye, maybe someone's face, just the most important spot in the photo. Let's add the amount. This creates noise that sharpens the photo. But we don't want the noise to be created all over the photo. We want to remove it from the background. To do that, use masking. Click Alt, Option or Alt on your keyboard and move the slider up. You can see how the noise is being removed from the background. Now we can add some sharpness in those details. Move those sliders up to see the result of sharpening on the whole image and and not to destroy the details in the higher scale. The last part is to export the photo. Go to File, Export. Here are my settings to exporting a photo. I export to a JPEG file with sRGB color space. My quality is up to 100 and the resolution is to 300 dpi. I do not resize to fit the long edge. Click Export. I hope you like this simple edit and that you can apply those techniques on your own photos. Go to my website, iwonapodlasinska.com, and to find some information about upcoming workshops, and also check out the newest movies. Bye!